All right, everyone, it's time to talk about the butchering of Christians in Nigeria. Big in the news lately, a lot of people talking about this. Trump has threatened a military response saying, oh, we're going to go in guns blazing if you don't figure this shit out, and threatening to withhold aid, actually, from Nigeria. I do support withholding aid from Nigeria. Honestly, at the end of the day, my priority is the American people. I happen to be in the United States. So I would rather help all of the millions of homeless people in our country before hauling off onto another adventuristic war in foreign lands. I do feel sympathy for Nigerian Christians. They are persecuted. Boko Haram is absolutely insane. And if a couple of drone strikes hit some Boko Haram targets, I don't have any problem with that. They've also been destroying pagan remains, actually. As a pagan, therefore, I have a little bit of a personal beef. But hauling off into another war, like Iraq or something like that, does not seem like a good idea to me. It seems like a very, very bad idea. We've tried this before. We've been trying this since the 1950s, actually. Usually it backfires. What would end up happening is probably we would end up destabilizing part of Nigeria and causing more problems than we're solving at great public taxpayer expense. Why don't we solve our own problems at home and then we can potentially help other nations? This is a long-standing kind of concept. Charity starts at home. If the United States can buck up its economy, can grow, can have more resources and so forth, if we can do that, then we're in a better position to aid our allies. Now, there is one aside here. Nigeria is basically the linchpin of ECOWAS. And as a counter to the Eastern Bloc, which has formed its own sort of union there, with, I believe, Mauritania, Mali, and Burkina Faso, ECOWAS is important, although it is a group that is slowly collapsing. And they've been trying to add, I mean, Morocco has been trying to add itself to ECOWAS for a long time, but Nigeria keeps cock-blocking them because Morocco has a bigger military than theirs, and they want to be the main country within that particular military union. Entering into the fray, I think, would be a bad idea, and we're overstretched anyway. We should be focusing on other things. You've got, for example, a lot of aid and weapons and shit going to Ukraine right now. That war has basically entered stalemate mode more than anything else. We've got the possibility of a looming war in Guyana. And of course, I don't support invading Venezuela either, though they have voted to attempt to annex Essequibo. And then you have Taiwan. So there are all sorts of geopolitical conflicts, but the United States cannot do everything itself. It's not possible for us to do while maintaining our interior sovereignty. It's not possible for us to get involved in all of these foreign conflicts and also take care of our own. We have millions of people right now that are homeless. Okay? We have millions of homeless people, tens of millions of people who are impoverished. Can we take care of ourselves for a change? Because that's sort of what I voted for Trump to do, because he seems to be the only one that's relatively sane on geopolitical issues and things of that nature. He ran on a campaign where he said he didn't want foreign conflict. He would try to avoid it. Well, then please avoid this foreign conflict, because this is going to be worse than Iraq, potentially. You'll end up getting humiliated. If you're just conducting a few targeted strikes on Boko Haram targets, yeah, that's fine with me. They are stealing, they literally grab people away and then they sell them as slaves and stuff like that. They're nuts. But there's really nothing that we can do. The logistical support necessary to eliminate Boko Haram is beyond our capacity. Standardized militaries like those of the United States are really, really great in pitched battles. They're really, really great when it comes to flattening some foe and just wiping them off the face of the earth. The problem is that with Boko Haram, they blend in with the population And so it's going to be real difficult to take out Boko Haram without accidentally killing civilians. It's going to be real difficult, by the way, long term, to secure the support of the Nigerian government. The Nigerian government eventually, if the United States were to get, fairly directly involved with that particular fray, even if it's for justified reasons, even and by the way, again, as a pagan, I hate Boko Haram too. And I don't want Christians to die or little girls to get sex trafficked or anything like that. But what would our involvement in the end actually do that would be positive? That's my question. It would be more sensible, I think, to simply provide logistic support to the Nigerian military. They are relatively well equipped, they are relatively well trained, and they're probably capable of handling it themselves. This is, by the way, a little bit of a doppelganger of something happening on the other side of Africa, which is Kenya. Kenya bought a bunch of yesteryear equipment from the United States some time ago. Their military, therefore, is relatively well equipped. They've been fighting pirates. Not cool pirates like me, but the kind of pirates that have motorboats and stuff like that. Not the cool ones that ride in schooners and galleons and stuff like that, but the modern day pirates. In Somalia, actually. They've staged several interventions, actually, and they are a naval power, which is hysterical to me. They've managed to make do without considerable support from the West. They bought a bunch of weapons and shit like that, and then they use them to fight, the pirates. It helps to keep the sea lanes open. Why don't we do the same with Nigeria? We've got a million thousand fucking tanks and shit like that. We've got all of yesteryear's equipment, which we could simply be selling. Doesn't cost us anything, improves their equipment, and allows them to fight. Let them do it themselves. It's not our nation. This is our nation. I happen to be standing on it at the moment. Well, rather sitting in my office, but you get the point. Nigeria is perfectly capable of fighting off Boko Haram. Yeah, they're an international syndicate with significant manpower, and they use terroristic tactics. As we've seen, the US military is really, really great against standing armies. It's not so good at fighting terroristic groups. They'll just go underground quite literally. They'll go guerrilla mode, and then they will slowly wear you out with attrition. We've seen this before. We've been seeing this since the Korean War, and certainly Vietnam and other conflicts that we've been in. So I would advise against going into Nigeria. That sounds like a very, very bad idea. That's about all. Peace out.